Hello, how are you? Don't mind my dust. It's Sunday. I believe it's the 22nd of March, right? I forgot. But anyway, I guess spring started, huh? Happy spring. I have this book, The Everyday Life Bible, and it's by Joyce Meyer. It's amplified version, but gosh, I've had this for like 15 years, I believe. And boy, is it kind of crinkly and stuff, but there's things in it that I really like, because at the beginning of each chapter there's these purple pages. See, I'll show you, but let's see. See, look at all my writing though, and they're like a purple part. See? Okay, and they're really cool. So, like in Genesis, it's really cool because, like what I like to do before each chapter is read the purple part. Hear the pages crinkling, plus the furnace is running. So, sorry if it's loud, but I like how it does it. Genesis, author Moses, date about 1440 BC, and it says everyday life principles. Beginnings are important, and thankfully, God continually gives us opportunities for a fresh start. Be watching for the opportunities God brings your way. They will present themselves in the situations of your everyday life, such as your relationship, your workplace, the way you choose to spend your time, and issues of personal integrity. Only as you take advantage of these opportunities can you move forward in God's plan for your life. And then next to it, before it starts Genesis, she puts more. We often hear the book of Genesis described as a book of beginnings, but I also like to think of it as a book of opportunities. See, Joyce Meyer is writing this part. From start to finish, we read stories of people who were presented with opportunities. First, we see Eve with the opportunity to choose between good and evil, between God's instruction and the serpent's deception. We see Noah with an opportunity to demonstrate his faith when everyone around him thought he was crazy. We see Abraham with an opportunity to believe God's promise when it was naturally impossible, and then to obey God when obedience required a willingness to sacrifice the promised son for whom he waited so long. We see Jacob with an opportunity to deceive, which resulted in all kinds of trouble, and later with an opportunity to surrender completely to God, which resulted in great blessing. We see Joseph with opportunities to forgive and to trust God. Throughout Genesis, people were blessed when they took advantage of opportunities to choose well, to choose truth over deception, faith over fear, peace over strife, forgiveness over bitterness, patience and waiting on God over trying to force something to happen. I hope the stories and principles in this book will help you recognize the opportunities God gives you and make wise choices that will lead to greater blessings than you have ever known. I like how, they put that in the beginning. There's lots of times where there's opportunities, and I always, questioned God, which people say not to, but I always thought, okay, what opportunities do I have? And, just like now during this hard, trying time, it could help us Might sound crazy, but like I'm running the oven more, but I'm making less of a certain food my son would want or something. Like, example, the tater tots I used to make, I don't know, probably half of the bag so everybody could eat them, but the thing was is sometimes there'd be extra and then we wouldn't eat them, and not that they'd get wasted because I'd pick at them, once in a while. I don't really eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner like this, and I'll kind of pick a tater tot or whatever, which I don't know. But it's an opportunity to, right now, especially, I don't know, the stores don't have anything or nothing, so to use less and to, get used to, I guess, how it is to feel less. But like I know a lot of us out there right now are suffering because we already have less. But what's really cool, I mean, really cool, huh? We're already used to having less. So that's what's kind of okay with us, like we're not, what would you say? We're not as depressed, even though we are, but we're not as depressed because we always feel like we live this way, so. It is weird, though, on the other side, seeing the other people, kind of freak out. I don't know, the world's changing, but that's my little stuff. I sometimes shouldn't even talk, I feel. I don't know. It goes into start Genesis then, like in the beginning, God prepared, formed, fashioned, and created the heavens and the earth. Now, it's written different, but, it's not the King James. And I know a lot of people, excuse me, I've been having tickles and stuff. Usually before spring, I get this way anyway. I'm really sorry. And I talk a lot too, but anyway. They put a life point in there too, like after you read like the first Genesis 1:1, then they'll put this. 1 second. Goodness gracious, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I'm having a runny nose and a tickle in my throat and everything, and it's not really working out. And I have eye twitching, and I've been feeling like hard to breathe, and sore throat. And I get worried because I went to the Aldi's just on Monday, and they didn't have anything. All the shelves were empty, and I came home. I mean, within an hour, I just felt totally sick, and headache, sore throat, some coughing. But I already have a dry cough from the heat running and everything. But I don't know. But anyway, they put a life point after you read Genesis 1, and before it gets to 1:2, and they'll put like this. It says, here in the very first chapter of the Bible, God clearly communicates his desire for our lives to be fruitful. 2 things necessary to live fruitful lives are balance and pruning. To stay balanced, we need to make sure we get the right amounts of healthy nourishment, rest, work, play, time alone with God, and time to enjoy godly relationships. Pruning is not always pleasant, but it does ensure that the situations, activities, or relationships that are depleting us will not continue to do so. It means something must be cut off or removed from our lives, but God promises great reward as a result, more fruitfulness than ever. Stay balanced by letting God, the wise master gardener, prune your life as he sees fit, and you will enjoy years of fruitfulness and fulfillment. I'm pausing it once in a while to cough. There's another thing, still in Genesis, they're purple pages. They're really cool. It says, enjoy your life. When God completed his 6 days of creation, he took time to look over everything, and he saw that it was very good, and he approved it completely. Genesis 1:31. God took time to enjoy the work of his hands, and we should do the same. In our passion to possess more and more, we often fall into the trap of working, and we never enjoy the fruit of our labor. Sometimes we should simply take time to relax and enjoy what we have accomplished. The writer of Ecclesiastes says, "It is the gift of God for man to find enjoyment in all of his labor." Ecclesiastes 2:24. I have always been a hard worker. A few years ago, I realized I was working hard but not taking time to enjoy what I was doing. I made a decision to include enjoyment in my life. I no longer just do conferences, I enjoy them. When my house is clean and pretty, I take time to look at it and enjoy it. At the end of the year, I go over my calendar and remember the various things I have done, and I enjoy the sense of accomplishment. I look at what God has enabled me to do, and I say it is good, which makes me want to cry. So many people feel worthless, many people feel worthless, insecure, and unacceptable. But God looked at everything He created, including man, and said, "It is very good." He approved it completely. God knows everything about each of us, and He loves us unconditionally. God approves of us. He may not approve of everything we do, but He does approve of us and His beloved children. I encourage you to make a decision to not only enjoy the labor of your hands, but to approve of and enjoy yourself as well. Choosing to enjoy and accept myself is one of the best decisions I have ever made. God does not create junk. He is good, and everything He does is good. We cannot believe that God created us and also believe we are worthless. Begin to accept and enjoy yourself where you are, and God will help you get to where you need to be. I need to do this more, and I'm only reading the purple pages. That was the page in between Genesis 2 now. And then it puts a life point in there after Genesis 2, and God created Adam as a living being in His image. See Genesis 1:26 and 27. And God gave him authority over everything else He created. That's Genesis 1:28. Okay. Man was created to rule under God and to be the physical carrier of God's Spirit in the earth. Part of human nature is that we, as living beings like Adam, have a free will. Why? Because God is too loving to force submission from anyone. He wants us to freely choose to love and serve Him. I hope that today you will make a fresh and willful commitment to love and serve God with all your heart. Now I'm reading, again, out of the Joyce Meyer Everyday Living Bible, or Everyday Life Bible, sorry. And it's just the purple pages in there. And can you believe that when I got this, it might even have been more than 15 years ago, that it was $31.45. I really wanted it. I remember I really wanted it, and because I saw it in the store, and it was too much money, because $31 is, and wow, I hope it's less these days, but I don't know. I finally did get it, but I haven't picked it up in a long time because, my mom died, and I kind of, lost it a little. I'm going to pause it for 1 second. There's another page here too when it gets to Genesis 3, and it says this, and I don't have a lot of time on this recording, but a very creative God. Now Joyce Meyer was writing these parts, I cannot imagine what a job it must have been for Adam to name all the birds and animals. He certainly had to be creative to do that. It says, I could go on and on how diverse and imaginative God was in creation, but I am sure if you think about it, you will agree that our God is awesome, not only in His power and His love, but also in His creativity. Simply take a walk and look around and watch something about nature on a DVD or television. Find out what is in the ocean, or learn about bees and flowers, how bees and flowers work together. Then realize the same Holy Spirit present at creation is living inside you if you have truly accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. So much creativity lies within each one of us, and we need to learn to tap into it and express it without fear. Often, instead of exercising creativity, we keep repeating the same things even when we are bored with them, simply because we are afraid to step out and do something different. Even if we like the familiar, We must remember that we all need variety in our lives. Some people keep the same job or live in the same area all of their lives because they feel those environments and activities are safe. Even if they hate their jobs and feel unfulfilled, at least they know how to do their jobs. They're familiar and are comfortable with them. And the thought of getting other jobs is terrifying to them. In other cases, people do want to make changes in their life, but they do not want to fail at something new, so they refuse to try and stick with the familiar. I do not encourage people to pursue every whim that crosses their minds or to latch onto every fad that comes their way, but there is a definite time to step out of the ordinary, out of the comfort zone, and into new things. God has created us to need diversity and variety. We are designed to require freshness and newness in our lives, and there is nothing wrong with feeling that you just need a change. On the other hand, never being satisfied and always trying the next new thing is another type of problem. Stay within reason, but do not be afraid of the new. Embrace the fresh and different opportunities, experiences, and environments God brings your way. He is a creative God. His creativity did not stop in the Garden of Eden, but is still active today, and He continues to shape and refine the wonderful creation He is making in you. I'm going to end it there. When I read the Bible, I cry. When I go to church, I cry. It doesn't matter if anybody's there with me or I go alone. I've always cried, and that's one thing that kind of keeps me from going. Even if I listen to it on the radio, I cry. So I don't know what that is, if you guys do it or not, but I don't know. Sometimes I just don't feel like crying, and like right now I'm kind of teary, so I don't know. So thank you for listening. That's still in Genesis, and this was Joyce Meyer, the Everyday Life Bible, and that's her commentary stuff. Well, I shouldn't say commentary. Well, that's her writing, and then in between you could read the verse, like Genesis 1, 2, and 3, and then that's what I did. I read the paper. There's one more purple one, but I'm going to run out of time here. There's one more purple one in, actually two in chapter 3. There's even the Devil's Doom and Becoming One. So maybe in my next video I could do that, still in Genesis. But, I'm not reading the Bible, the actual verses. I'm reading her purple pages that are there because, to me, sometimes I don't have a lot of time, and it helps me to do that. So thank you for watching. Have a blessed day. I love you guys. Thanks.